In this little tutorial, we're going to go over how to edit a simple audio clip using Adobe Audition. The first thing you got to do is find the Adobe Audition icon somewhere in your computer. It's an AU symbol. Usually it's on a greenish, grayish blue background. Otherwise, if you already have your computer up and running and you have the file already on your USB or on your laptop somewhere on your desktop, all you have to do is right-click Open with Adobe Audition, and it'll usually come right up. And what you'll get is you'll get a screen that has your file already in there, looking like a fish skeleton. And sometimes it'll be on one track, sometimes it'll be on two tracks. It automatically will import it for you if you do it that way. If you open Adobe Audition first and then you want to get your file into Adobe Audition, it's pretty easy. You just click on the word File on the top left of the screen, and right beside the word Audition. If you're using a Mac, it's right after the Apple, and then Audition, and then File. You'll get a pull-down menu, and just go Import. Click on the word Import, click on the word File, and then it'll call up your computer, and you find the file. And you click on it, and it'll open it automatically. Okay? So once you do that, you will have a workspace, which I should explain to you. So if you look to the very top, you will see that it says waveform and multi-track, and it also has a nice little green, looks like an airplane almost, beside the word waveform, and it has multi-track, also has a little square in green. What we want is we want the waveform for now, because what we're going to do is we're going to just play it and edit it. And when you make a more complicated podcast, when you have sound and you have jingles and you have several interviews and your own voice, then you're going to need to do a mix on a multi-track. But for today, the simplest thing and the fastest thing is to use the waveform program. Okay, so it should already be in waveform for you. If it isn't, you'll see a bunch of tracks, multi-track. If it is, you should have that one single file that looks like a fish skeleton. It could be one file, or it could be a double duplicate file, one on top of the other, two fish skeletons that are exactly the same, which is stereo. Hopefully that's what you got, because the microphones are usually stereo depending on what machine you used. Okay, so after you get that in there, then you got to learn how to navigate around the Adobe Audition. So let's look a little bit at the workspace. On the very left, you will see the name of your file in I like to call it the shopping cart, the grocery cart, the way left side of the screen. It's gray, and it should have your file listed in there with the length of time the file is. Okay, so don't worry too much about that, if it's very long. We're only going to take an excerpt out of it. Anyhow, what you want to do is you want to learn how to play and listen. So very easy to figure out where you can use the space bar of your computer to start and stop. So that's one easy way. Or you can actually use, we call it transport panel, but you can see the controls on my computer. It's on the left side, but you might have it right underneath your audio file. There should be a square for stop, a green arrow for play, a pause, that's two straight lines, and some other recording tools, as well as fast forward and go back to the beginning, go to the end, and loop. Loop is the one that is a square with an arrow in it. And then the little red recording button. So you can use the play buttons there. Either way, they're fine. You will also see some other tools, including a stopwatch, which is called time, which will tell you, how long you are running. And underneath the whole thing is an area at the bottom called levels. And levels is basically your readout of how loud you are playing. So we like green. We're not too happy about red. And we are sort of watching when it turns yellow. Basically, what we want is for the audio file to be between -9 and -12 decibels. Okay, and you'll see those numbers at the bottom right-hand side of your screen. It goes from 0, and as you head left, it's -1, -2, -3. So basically, you want your file, when it plays, to be mostly between -9 and -12 decibels. And if it isn't, then we'll fix it afterwards, okay? But first of all, you have to know how to get to the area that you want to use as your excerpt. So there's a little thing that's called a playhead, and it's a yellow sort of face. It looks like an upside down Dorito, and a red line, up and down vertical red line attached to it. And look for it on the where the file actually is. It should be black and green, and there should be that yellow potato chip, or looks like a guitar pick, maybe upside down, with a red line. You can move that with your mouse. You can click on it and hold and move it with your mouse. That is your playhead. So you can then know that if your file that you wanted and the quote was about 3 minutes and 58 seconds in from the beginning, you just move it to 3 minutes and 58 seconds in physically with your mouse. Or you can just waste your time and listen all the way through and from 0 until you get there. Either way. You can also do it a quick and dirty way. There is a selection view area at the bottom, right beside where they have transport, and then there's the time. Then there's something that's called zoom, and it has a bunch of magnifying glasses where you can make it bigger or smaller so you can see. And then the other one it says selection view. It has start, end, and duration. So if you just literally type in 0358, it'll just go right to it. So there's several ways you can do that. So now you're ready to select your actual quote, your excerpt. So take your mouse, click on the yellow Dorito chip or guitar pick, whatever you want to call it, on the top of the playhead, and move the playhead with your mouse, click and hold, until the exact first or second first word of the quote. So let's say you decided that your quote's going to start at 3 minutes and 58 seconds when the lady says Terry Fox is amazing. Move the mouse to that spot. Okay, then click on your mouse and hold. So you have to then take the red part of the playhead, click on that, and basically hold it and drag it to the right until you're at the end of the last 3 words of what the person says. Hopefully you remember. If not, you can let go when you get to a point estimated, and then play it and see if you were close. If not, and you need to go backwards a little bit, you can literally just take your mouse on the edge where the black meets the white at the edge of your quote, and there'll be an arrow that will come up, a little black arrow, and then you can either go left or go right until you juggle it until you get to the actual end point that you want. Okay, so you'll have the playhead with the yellow Dorito chip and the red line on the left side of the white highlighted area, and you'll have the end part of the quote on the right side of the highlighted area, and then you should have your quote, and then we have to set the levels. You have to adjust the volume, okay? And what you're going to do there is you're going to play it. So there's a loop that you're going to play, and basically what you do is once you've selected it, you have a choice to play it. Use the space bar and play the whole thing, and you will see the readout. Make sure your readout is between -9 and -12 decibels. If it's not, doesn't have to be every single word, every part of it, but mostly should be in between -9 and -12. If it's too small, and you'll be able to see that the actual fish skeleton, the actual audio file is very, very, very small, you'll know that it's going to be needing some boosting. If it's huge and it's like hitting the entire side of the screen, and it looks like it's going to, be super loud, and it goes into the red when it plays, then you're going to have to lower the volume. And it's a really easy way to do it. You should have right now on the top track a little bar in gray that has a sliding scale of volume, a little roundy button, and something that has a plus sign with some decibels, 0 and the word dB in it. Okay, it should be there already, but this only will be there if you have it highlighted, if you have the clip highlighted. Okay, so once you do have it highlighted and you see that little gray pop-up box, literally you can put your mouse over the roundy button and it'll say adjust amplitude. Hover it and it'll say adjust amplitude. So literally click on that button and hold and either pull up or pull down, raise or lower, so you'll actually change the size of the file. And let go. And then play it. See if that's better. If it's not better, do it again. Fix it until it's right. Okay? So I'll stop here while you do that. After you've made sure that you know how long it runs and you've written down the transcript, you go File at the top left of your screen, Save Selection as, then rename it. So, for example, the person's name that you interviewed, so it would be, Mary Kiley, Terry Fox 1, for example, or Mary Kiley, Terry Fox 2, whatever it is you want to do. Then look at the pull-down menu for the format you need to save it as, and we want you to save it as an MP3 file, not as anything else. And then make sure you save it not to Audition, but go into the Browse function and save it to your USB key or to your hard drive or your laptop. And worst comes to worst, to the computer, desktop, although that's a bad idea if you're working at school, because if it crashes, you've lost everything. Then it will say, yes, we're going to compress it, and you say, yes, okay. We said fine. There should be a pop-up and just say fine. And it'll compress it and it'll save it. So you want to listen to it before you upload it to the server or to your editor. So basically, you just go File and then Open, and it'll open your computer and you find the file that you just did, which would be Terry Fox or Mary Kiley, Terry Fox 1, and double click on it and it'll open in a new Adobe Audition workspace and play it. If it's good and it's clean and there's no dead air at the beginning, no dead air at the end, then you're good to go. If there is, then you know how you highlighted part of the raw file in order to, pull that clip? Well, you just highlight the dead air the same way and hit the delete key, okay? So either way, you want no dead air at the beginning and no dead air at the end. So do that, and then you're done. So save one of those copies to your USB, and the other one you upload to eCentennial or email to your server or however your newsroom likes it. Okay, and now you're ready to write your script. After you've made sure that you know how long it runs and you've written down the transcript, you go File at the top left of your screen, Save Selection as, then rename it. So, for example, the person's name that you interviewed, so it would be, Mary Kiley, Terry Fox 1, for example, or Mary Kiley, Terry Fox 2, whatever it is you want to do. Then look at the pull-down menu for the format you need to save it as, and we want you to save it as an MP3 file.